Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at one of the new 6 pluses that has arrived here on the global side of the game. That is V2 Mihawk. Now, can we just take a second to appreciate this art? This art is actually pretty damn fire. Unfortunately, I can't really say the same about the character. Now, the character himself isn't terrible, but with the recent 6 pluses, things just haven't been all that great in terms of the actual power of the units. Once upon a time, these 6 pluses were just like absolutely god tier, and they were actually like sort of game breaking in the sense of like you could actually use them in like good stead. But nowadays they're kind of just luxury, and use them for a treasure map, and then they kind of just sit in your box and collects dust. But let's talk about what this guy does. As a captain, if you have 6 slashes on the crew, he boosts the chain multiplier growth by 4 times, boosts slasher character's attack by 1.75, reduces damage by 10%, and boosts the chances of landing on decks and int slots. Now, this is actually pretty decent, but it is very, very restrictive, as you do need 6 slashes. Now, that's not that terribly hard with Roger and Odin running around, but it is still very, very annoying that you need 6 slashes to actually make this guy's captain actually work. Now, the 4 times chain multiplier growth is really, really good, but obviously this character gets absolutely cucked by a chain lock or characters that reduce the chain multiplier. Any of those two, and you just kind of you're basically up Ship Creek without a paddle. But he is still a fairly decent captain, and he still can do some wild things. As for his special ability, he reduces one enemy's HP by 25%, which ignores all defensive effects. He then boosts Slash's character's slot effects by 2.25 for 1 turn, and if 3 or more characters have a dex or int slot, he locks the slots and then boosts the Slasher character's slot effects by 2.25 times again in the next turn. So he gives that little clock buff, which is actually pretty decent. The downside is you do need dex and in orbs, but with 2 of them as captain, you kind of see those dex and in orbs pop up quite a bit. I kind of wish he would make them matching as well, but unfortunately, they sort of left it there. But there are some other ways to get around that with utilizing something like the V2 Zoro 6 plus and whatnot. But I digress. He has 75 base attack, 2 slashes as a crewmate, and he makes strength, quick, sign, int. Slots have matching slot effects if the captain is a slasher class. So that's just for himself, unfortunately. He just has stats, 18% base attack, which is actually pretty good. Goes on to Zoro. And other than that, he's actually just got the standard recovery bind by 7 turns, the pinch healing, and he has crit damage. He's a free spirit slasher, which is a bit nice for a Mihawk. And yeah, that's enough about the character. But in today's video, I do have 2 particular pieces of content that we'll be looking at. I do have a double Mihawk team against the Garbs Challenge Navy, and then I have a hybrid Mihawk and Roger team taking on Arena X-Drake. So with that said, let's dive in. Alright, so here we are over at Garbs Challenge Navy utilizing V2 Mihawk. So this is the team, these are the supports. Let's dive in. Now, Navy's arguably the hardest of the Garbs challenges. Most people will argue that it is the hardest, mainly because it has the most gimmicks in terms of trying to get around the hunger, the thresholds, the single taps. There's a lot going on in this particular piece of content, but as you can see, this is the team we are rocking. We do have the double V2 Mihawk leads. I did want to really make sure that I was using double Mihawk here. And we do have Laffy with the Otama support. That's going to help us get around hunger. We do have Zoro and Sanji with the Nami support to help us get around some despair and bind. We have Pedro, and then we have Gukimaru. Gukimaru is actually the only dex slasher that can remove threshold, which is quite funny, besides some Kazuna units. But if you don't have Gukimaru, unfortunately this team will not function, as Gukimaru is literally the only one, but it is what it is. I do imagine if you have a friend super type Zoro, this would be a butt ton easier. But nevertheless, this team actually didn't have too many issues taking this down, and I was actually fairly impressed by how much damage output it had and how well it actually tore through some of the harder stages that normally make some other teams struggle. So on stage 3, when we come against Kobe and Helmeppo, they're going to turn any recovery orbs into block orbs. And what we're going to do here is going to use Gukimaru to remove the threshold, but we're also going to switch from Luffy into Law. That way we actually get an attack boost with our Luffy and Law, as well as get the orb boost from their special. With the orb boost and the attack boost, we should be able to take out Kobe. We can actually eat the meat orbs to remove the hunger, and we can actually take out Helmeppo in the same turn. The downside to using Mihawk as a captain, all of his damage is back-ended, so you do want to make sure that you can actually take out units before you hit with your final shot. as that last shot is going to do majority of the damage, and you just don't want to waste it, especially when you're versing multiple mob enemies. On the next stage against Smoker, Tashigi, and Hina, they're going to bind our bottom row for 3 turns and give our captains to spare. They also make all TND orbs unfavorable. They give us a full board of TND or unfavorable orbs. And then they do some shenanigans after turn 1. So we're going to switch with Zoro and Sanji. That way we can actually get a matching orb. And then use their special for an attack boost. That way we can easily take out Tashigi, and we don't have to worry about the attack down on stage 2 if she's alive. Because we remove 2 turns of blind, we actually get the rest of our units back, and that way we can actually output a lot more damage, as because our units are blinded, it means our chain multiplier can't get as nearly as high as it should get, and being able to get that high chain multiplier is where Mihawk gets all of his damage. On the second turn, we're going to take out Hina, then we're going to focus on Smoker, as we do have color affinity with pretty much our whole team besides Law, and we should be able to take him out easy peasy in 1 turn. And if you do have any meat orbs there, try and eat them up, try and gobble them up, try and salvage some HP if you can. On the next stage against Kizaru, we're going to pop one of our Mihawk specials. Mihawk's updated special gives him the carryover effect with the little clock buff, only if you have 4 dex or int orbs, however. So on this particular turn, we don't actually have that, so we are just getting the 2.25 times orb boost, which is plenty of damage to actually take out Kizaru, but he also does a 25% HP cut, which is actually pretty underrated, especially in Garb's challenges where that HP cut can actually be very, very good. On the next turn against Fujitora and his Chicky Babe friends, this is where things normally get a little bit tricky for like most teams. You can only tap with 4 units here, and Fujitora locks onto him, but the beautiful thing is once you take out Fujitora, you do have about 9 turns of stalling on the girls in the back. So we are going to use one of our other Mihawk special. Then we can use our Pedro special to set the defense to 0 and get a conditional boost against the defense that's set to 0. And he actually gives us some matching orbs too. So we are going to attack with the characters that have orbs. We can actually take out Fujitora in that first turn. And then on the second turn, we're just going to take out 2 of the other Chicky Babes around the outside. And then we're just going to stall the rest of the turns until we get to the 89 turn cooldown. So we're going to fast forward to that point. Alright, so now we've hit the 89 turn cooldown, the chick's going to run away, and then we can move on to the final stage against Akainu. Now against Akainu, he's going to turn into the opposite color than your captain, which is really nice. That means you have color affinity on this particular stage. And then he blows away all of your positive buffs, and he gives you 5 turns of burn, as well as 2 specials only in that turn. So I do have the support of Edward Weevil on my Mihawk, but I don't think that's essential at all. We're going to use our Zoro and Sanji special. They're going to give us an attack boost, and then we're going to use our Mihawk special. Now, Mihawk is going to do a nice chunky 25% HP cut. He's also going to give us matching a very high orb boost, and with the very high attack boost that our boy Zoro and Sanji give us, we can actually take out Akainu on that very first turn. On the second turn, when Akainu revives, he puts up 3 turns of threshold, so we can, 2 turns, we can remove that with Gukimaru, give ourselves a full board of orbs. Switch with our Luffy and Law to get an attack boost, and then use their special for what would be an orb boost, but we do have Mihawk's orb boost. And then with that, we can actually take out Akainu hunky dory. So that was the V2 Mihawk against the Garb's Challenge Navy. Actually worked fairly well, and I was pretty impressed by the mono deck slasher team. So the next clip of the video is against Arena X Drake. This is what the team looks like. These are the supports. And let's dive in. I really wanted to test the hybrid capabilities of Mihawk here, so that's what we're doing. Alright, so we've reached stage 3 of this event, and this is where things start to get a little bit tricky. On stage 3, we come up against Basil Hawkins, who gives us a full board of T&D slots and unfavorable orbs. Now, ideally, you kind of just want to have an orb on Odin or one of your strength units. Odin just does so much more damage because he is boosted here, and literally just with the orb boost, we can actually just destroy Hawkins easy peasy, literally just with 1 orb on Odin, which is really, really cool. On stage 4, we come up against Page 1. Now, this is where things get really, really, really tricky. He has 4 turns of damage reduction, 4 turns of defense up. He gives us a full board of block orbs and makes all colors unfavorable for 15 turns, which is really, really annoying. With the Roger super typing, we can actually get around the block orbs, which is great. And then we can use the Odin special to actually give us a full board of Wano slots, which we've locked, which is the easiest way to actually get around this. We have the Hawkins special. Hawkins is great because he's a slasher and he is a strength unit. He can remove the 4 turns of defense up and damage reduction, which is really, really nice. And then we can use the Roger special to actually extend the orb boost and just do all those cheeky Odin Roger shenanigans. With that, we have enough damage to easily take out Page 1 and move into the next stage against X-Drake. Now, against X-Drake, things get a little bit tricky. Now, this is designed for Roger and his batch, so utilizing the cat and the dog, or cat Viper and Dogstorm. Works really, really well here, as you need to remove 4 turns of Attack Down, Special Bind, Despair, Paralysis. On top of that, you can't actually use the Chain Locker, so that's why I thought using Mihawk here would be really, really cool, because that way we can actually get around the whole Chain Locking mechanic by bringing a Chain Booster, well, in a Captain. We have Colosseum Law to remove the Special Bind and give us an attack boost, and then we have Kinemon to actually give us a color affinity boost to our slashes. We also had some notable supports to remove some paralysis there, which was really, really nice. You could also run the Oro Jackson to give you 2 more turns of paralysis as well, and with that we can easily take out X-Drake. So there you guys go, that was the V2 Mihawk 6+ showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Lates!